Hello, my fellow pilots and my fellow aircraft maintenance personnel. Your host is always Haitham Ali, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Welcome to my aviation nuggets for today. Let's speak a little bit about the flight mode annunciator. Flight mode annunciator or FMA. Flight mode annunciator or FMA is the upper part of the BFD, primary flight display of the EFIS, or the upper part of the electronic attitude direction indicator. What function do the FMA provide? What function or what information do the FMA provide? Actually, the FMA will provide the engagement status of the autopilot, flight director, and auto thrust, and also the landing capabilities, and also the lateral and vertical modes of the auto flight control system, and auto thrust mode. Okay, everybody? So, as you can see here, autopilot and the flight director annunciator indicates the auto flight control system status. Variation in the auto flight control system status include the engagement of the autopilot without it being coupled to the flight director system. Maybe the autopilot is engaged without being coupled to the flight director system, or the engagement of the flight director system without it being coupled to the autopilot, or the engagement of the autopilot while being coupled with the flight director system. Okay. Let me tell you what is the difference between autopilot and the flight director. Autopilot actually is the part that operates the flight controls. Physical manipulation of flight controls happen by the autopilot. But the flight director has no physical manipulation of the flight controls. For example, the flight directors, when engaged, the flight director bars appear on the BFD, or the electronic attitude direction indicator, so that the pilot can fly the aircraft to obey the flight director order, or the autopilot will fly the aircraft to fly the flight director orders. Okay, everybody? So, or the engagement of neither the autopilot or flight director while the aircraft is in the manual flight mode. All of this status, flight director is engaged without coupled with autopilot, or autopilot engaged without coupled with flight director, or autopilot engaged with coupled with flight director, or neither autopilot, neither flight director, and the pilot manually flies the aircraft. All of this mode and the status of the autopilot and the flight director appear on the flight mode annunciator. Okay, everybody? As you can see here also, the flight mode annunciator indicates the capability of the aircraft to perform an automatic or semi-automatic landing, which is called the landing capability information. The flight mode annunciator indicates the landing capability indication. Also, the lateral and the vertical modes of the autopilot, and also the auto thrust mode is indicated on the flight mode annunciator. Okay. What other information we can say about the flight mode annunciator? Newly changed information is often emphasized on the FMA flight mode annunciator by surrounding it in a box. Engaged modes are shown on the top line in green. Engaged modes are shown on the top line in green, while armed modes are on the line below in white, so that the flight crew can easily differentiate between them. Some modes may be engaged and some modes may be armed but not engaged. Okay, everybody? So on the flight mode annunciator, engaged modes are shown on the top line in green, while armed modes are on the line below in white, so that the flight crew can easily differentiate between them. Flight mode annunciator may be of 5 columns in Airbus, and in Boeing I think about 3 columns. Okay everybody, so this was a session regarding the flight mode annunciator. Landing capabilities on the FMA. Status of engaged or arming of autopilot, flight director and auto thrust. And the aircraft lateral and vertical control modes and the auto thrust mode. Is it speed or thrust? Also may be indicated on the FMA, flight mode annunciator. Okay everybody, thank you always for your good listening, and always fly safely and maintain your aircraft very safely. From Cairo, Egypt, your host was Haitham Ali, and I'm an aviation technical instructor. Please stay tuned for an upcoming sessions like this. And please, if you have any comment, please don't hesitate to share your knowledge and be a part of that project. Thank you and goodbye.